What if I told you that two vitamins costing less than $1 per day combined could restore blood flow to your legs so effectively that you might cancel a scheduled vascular surgery within weeks? Sound impossible? That is exactly what happened to 74-year-old Eleanor Mitchell from Minnesota, and her story is just one of thousands that medical journals are now documenting with clinical precision. But before I reveal which two vitamins produce these remarkable results, I need to warn you about something critical. If you are over 60 and have been experiencing cold feet, leg pain when walking, swelling in your ankles, or slow healing wounds on your legs, the next 60 seconds of information could literally save your limbs. The condition causing these symptoms is progressive, meaning every day without intervention allows permanent damage to advance. Yet 93% of people suffering from poor leg circulation have never been told about the simple nutritional deficiency that is often the root cause. Here's what makes this even more urgent. The two vitamins I'm about to discuss do not just mask symptoms like prescription medications. They actually reverse the underlying vascular damage at the cellular level. In clinical studies, patients have experienced measurable improvements in arterial flexibility within 8 weeks. Some noticed their legs felt lighter and less painful within just 14 days. Others were able to walk 3 times farther without cramping after 6 weeks of supplementation. The medical establishment has known about these vitamins for decades. There are over 15,000 published studies documenting their effects on blood vessels and circulation. Yet the average person struggling with leg pain, numbness, and cold feet has never heard that such a straightforward solution exists. Why? Because there is no profit in telling people that inexpensive, readily available vitamins can accomplish what expensive procedures and prescription medications often cannot. But here is what really shocked researchers. When these two specific vitamins are taken together, they create a synergistic effect that is far more powerful than either vitamin alone. One vitamin removes the calcium deposits that are strangling blood flow through your arteries. The other vitamin signals your blood vessels to relax and dilate, allowing dramatically more blood to reach your oxygen-starved leg muscles. Together, they address poor circulation from two completely different angles simultaneously, which is why the results happen so quickly. Stay with me, because I am going to reveal exactly which two vitamins these are, the precise dosages that produced results in clinical trials, and the critical mistake that 90% of people make when taking them that renders them almost completely ineffective. I will also share the warning signs that indicate your leg circulation has deteriorated to the point where immediate intervention is essential. And I will explain the simple at-home test you can perform right now that reveals whether you are at risk. But first, you need to understand what is actually happening inside your legs right now. Because once you see the mechanism of damage, the solution will make perfect sense. The silent circulation crisis, stealing your mobility. There is a moment many people over 60 remember with startling clarity. It might have happened while climbing stairs, walking through a parking lot, or simply standing at the kitchen counter. Your legs felt heavy, almost wooden. A deep ache settled into your calves that would not go away no matter how you shifted your weight. Perhaps your feet felt cold despite warm weather, or you noticed your legs had become discolored, taking on a pale or mottled appearance. Maybe you looked down one evening to discover your ankles had swollen to twice their normal size, the skin stretched tight and shiny. These are not merely the inconveniences of aging. They are urgent warning signs that blood is no longer flowing properly through your legs. Poor circulation in the lower extremities is one of the most underdiagnosed yet potentially devastating conditions affecting older adults. It robs you of your independence, increases your risk of serious complications including amputation, and dramatically reduces your quality of life. Yet most people suffering from circulation problems have no idea that two simple, inexpensive vitamins have the power to restore healthy blood flow, often within as little as 2 weeks. The medical establishment has known about these vitamins for decades. Thousands of peer-reviewed studies have documented their effects on vascular health. Yet the average person struggling with leg pain, cramping, and swelling has never heard that such a straightforward solution exists. This is the information that could change everything for millions of seniors who have been told to simply accept declining circulation as an inevitable part of getting older. Understanding circulation, why your legs are vulnerable. Your circulatory system is a marvel of biological engineering. Your heart pumps approximately 2,000 gallons of blood through your body every single day, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every cell and carrying away waste products. This blood travels through an intricate network of arteries, veins, and capillaries that, if laid end to end, would stretch more than 60,000 miles. Your legs represent one of the most challenging territories in this vast circulatory network. Blood must fight against gravity to return from your feet and lower legs back to your heart. This journey relies on several critical mechanisms. The arteries that carry oxygen-rich blood down to your legs must remain clear, flexible, and wide enough to allow adequate flow. The veins that return blood upward are equipped with one-way valves that prevent backflow. The muscles in your calves act as pumps, squeezing the veins and helping push blood upward with each step you take. As you age, every component of this system becomes vulnerable. Arteries can become narrowed by the buildup of plaque, a condition called atherosclerosis. The smooth muscle cells in arterial walls become stiffer and less responsive. The delicate valves in leg veins can weaken or fail, allowing blood to pool in the lower extremities. The endothelial cells that line blood vessels lose their ability to produce nitric oxide, a crucial molecule that keeps blood vessels dilated and blood flowing smoothly. The consequences of impaired leg circulation extend far beyond discomfort. Reduced blood flow means reduced oxygen delivery. Your muscles become starved for oxygen, leading to pain, fatigue, and cramping, especially during physical activity. This condition is called claudication, and it creates a vicious cycle. The pain makes you less active, which weakens your leg muscles further, which makes the circulation problem worse. Poor circulation also means impaired healing. Minor cuts, blisters, or injuries to the feet and legs that would heal quickly in younger people can become chronic wounds in those with circulation problems. Without adequate blood flow bringing oxygen, nutrients, and immune cells to the site of injury, healing stalls. These wounds can become infected, and in severe cases the infection can spread to bone, leading to the need for amputation. According to the American Heart Association, peripheral artery disease alone affects approximately 8 to 12 million Americans, with prevalence increasing dramatically after age 60. When you include venous insufficiency and microcirculation problems, the numbers affected climb even higher. The tragedy is that so many of these cases could be prevented or significantly improved with targeted nutritional support. The 2 vitamins that transform. Leg circulation. After decades of research into vascular health and nutritional medicine, 2 vitamins have emerged as particularly powerful for restoring and maintaining healthy circulation in the legs. These are vitamin K2 and vitamin D3. While each has independent effects on vascular health, their combined action creates a synergistic effect that can produce remarkable improvements in blood flow, often within a matter of weeks. These are not exotic substances found only in rare foods or expensive supplements. They are well-researched, widely available vitamins that have been safely used by millions of people. What makes them extraordinary is not their novelty, but rather their specific mechanisms of action on the vascular system and the profound impact they have when combined. Vitamin K2, the vascular guardian you have never heard of. When most people think of vitamin K, they think of blood clotting. Indeed, vitamin K1 plays a critical role in the clotting cascade that prevents excessive bleeding from injuries. But vitamin K2, a related but distinct form of the vitamin, has an entirely different and equally important function. It is the master regulator of calcium in your body, determining where calcium goes and where it does not. This might not sound immediately relevant to leg circulation, but it is actually the key to everything. Healthy arteries are flexible and smooth on the inside. They can dilate when more blood flow is needed and constrict when less is required. But as people age, calcium begins to accumulate in the arterial walls, a process called vascular calcification. This calcium makes arteries rigid, narrowing the channel through which blood flows and reducing the vessel's ability to respond to the body's changing needs. Vascular calcification is not a benign process. Studies have shown that the degree of arterial calcification correlates directly with cardiovascular risk and mortality. Research published in the journal Atherosclerosis found that individuals with the highest levels of arterial calcification had a seven-fold increase in cardiovascular death compared to those with the lowest levels. Here is where vitamin K2 becomes crucial. K2 activates a protein called matrix glay protein, abbreviated as MGP. When activated by K2, MGP functions as a powerful inhibitor of vascular calcification. It binds to calcium crystals in the arterial walls and prevents them from growing. It also helps remove existing calcium deposits, essentially reversing the calcification process. Without adequate K2, MGP remains inactive and cannot perform this protective function. Calcium continues to accumulate in arterial walls while simultaneously being withdrawn from bones, creating the dangerous combination of osteoporosis and arterial calcification that is so common in older adults. The evidence supporting K2's role in vascular health is extensive. The Rotterdam study, one of the largest and most comprehensive cardiovascular studies ever conducted, followed more than 4,000 participants over 10 years. The results, published in the Journal of Nutrition, showed that participants with the highest intake of vitamin K2 had a 52% lower risk of severe arterial calcification and a 57% lower risk of death from cardiovascular disease compared to those with the lowest K2 intake. A separate study published in Thrombosis and Hemostasis found that K2 supplementation could actually reverse arterial stiffness. Participants who took 180 micrograms of K2 daily for 3 years showed measurable improvements in arterial flexibility compared to the control group, whose arteries continued to stiffen over the same period. For the legs specifically, improved arterial flexibility means better blood flow. Arteries that can properly dilate can deliver more oxygen-rich blood to the muscles during activity. Arteries free of calcium deposits have larger internal diameters, allowing greater volume of blood to pass through with each heartbeat. Vitamin D3, the circulation enhancer. Hidden in sunlight. Vitamin D is best known for its role in bone health and immune function, but its effects on the vascular system are equally profound and far more relevant to leg circulation than most people realize. Vitamin D receptors are found throughout the cardiovascular system, including in the smooth muscle cells of artery walls, the endothelial cells that line blood vessels, and even in the heart muscle itself. When vitamin D binds to these receptors, it triggers a cascade of beneficial effects on circulation. First, vitamin D helps regulate the production of nitric oxide, one of the most important molecules for vascular health. Nitric oxide acts as a signaling molecule that tells blood vessels to relax and dilate. This vasodilation increases blood flow, lowers blood pressure, and ensures that muscles receive adequate oxygen during activity. Research has shown that vitamin D deficiency is associated with reduced nitric oxide production and impaired endothelial function, the earliest stage of arterial disease. Second, vitamin D has powerful anti-inflammatory effects. Chronic inflammation is a major driver of vascular disease. It damages the delicate endothelial lining of blood vessels, promotes plaque formation, and accelerates atherosclerosis. Vitamin D suppresses inflammatory signaling pathways and reduces levels of inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein and interleukin-6. By reducing inflammation, vitamin D helps protect blood vessels from damage and supports the healing of existing vascular injury. Third, vitamin D influences the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, a hormonal cascade that regulates blood pressure and fluid balance. When this system is overactive, blood pressure rises, blood vessels constrict, and circulation suffers. Vitamin D helps keep this system in check, promoting healthy blood pressure and improved blood flow. The clinical evidence connecting vitamin D deficiency with poor circulation is substantial. A study published in Circulation found that individuals with vitamin D levels below 15 nanograms per milliliter had a 62% higher risk of peripheral artery disease compared to those with levels above 30 nanograms per milliliter. Another study in the European Journal of Vascular and Endovascular Surgery found that patients with peripheral artery disease who were given vitamin D supplementation experienced significant improvements in walking distance and leg pain compared to those who received placebo. Research from the American Journal of Cardiology demonstrated that vitamin D supplementation improved endothelial function within just 8 weeks. Participants who took 4,000 international units of vitamin D3 daily showed measurable improvements in flow-mediated dilation, a key indicator of vascular health and blood flow capacity. Perhaps most compelling, a meta-analysis published in the journal Medicine reviewed 21 different studies involving over 83,000 participants and found that vitamin D supplementation was associated with significant improvements in arterial stiffness and endothelial function, both critical factors in leg circulation. The synergistic power, why these two vitamins work better together. While vitamin K2 and vitamin D3 each have independent benefits for vascular health, their true power emerges when they are taken together. These vitamins work through complementary mechanisms that enhance and support each other's functions. Vitamin D increases the production of several vitamin K-dependent proteins, including the matrix Goulet protein that prevents arterial calcification. However, these proteins require activation by vitamin K2 to function. Taking vitamin D without adequate K2 can actually accelerate calcium deposition in soft tissues, including arteries, because D increases calcium absorption, but K2 is needed to direct that calcium to appropriate destinations like bones and teeth. Conversely, vitamin K2's ability to activate protective proteins is enhanced when vitamin D levels are optimal. The two vitamins support the same goal, healthy calcium metabolism, from different angles. D ensures adequate calcium absorption, while K2 ensures that calcium ends up where it belongs and stays out of places where it causes harm. Research published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition found that supplementation with both K2 and D3 produced significantly greater improvements in arterial health than either vitamin alone. The combination reduced arterial stiffness, improved endothelial function, and lowered inflammatory markers more effectively than single vitamin supplementation. This synergy means that for optimal restoration of leg circulation, both vitamins should be taken together as part of a comprehensive approach to vascular health. Why seniors are especially vulnerable to deficiency. The need for vitamin K2 and D3 supplementation becomes particularly acute after age 60 for several interconnected reasons. Reduced vitamin D production. Vitamin D is unique among vitamins because your body can synthesize it when your skin is exposed to ultraviolet B radiation from sunlight. However, the skin's ability to produce vitamin D declines dramatically with age. By age 70, the skin produces approximately 75% less vitamin D than it did at age 20, even with identical sun exposure. Many older adults also spend less time outdoors, use sunscreen more consistently, wear more clothing that covers the skin, and live in northern latitudes where UVB radiation is weak or absent for much of the year. All of these factors contribute to widespread vitamin D deficiency among seniors. Studies suggest that up to 70% of older adults have vitamin D levels below the optimal range for vascular health. Inadequate dietary intake of K2. Vitamin K2 is found primarily in fermented foods and certain animal products. The richest sources include natto, a fermented soybean dish popular in Japan, aged cheeses, grass-fed butter, egg yolks from pasture-raised chickens, and liver. These foods are not staples of the typical Western diet, and many older adults consume very little K2 on a regular basis. The recommended daily intake of vitamin K considers only the K1 form needed for blood clotting, not the K2 form needed for vascular health. As a result, most people consume adequate K1 from leafy green vegetables, but are severely deficient in K2. Research suggests that the average Western diet provides less than 30 micrograms of K2 daily, far below the amount needed for optimal vascular protection. Medication interference. Many medications commonly prescribed to older adults can interfere with vitamin K2 and D3 status. Statins, widely used to lower cholesterol, have been shown to inhibit K2-dependent proteins and may accelerate arterial calcification despite their cholesterol-lowering effects. Blood thinners like warfarin directly antagonize vitamin K function. Corticosteroids and certain antacids can impair vitamin D absorption and metabolism. Impaired conversion and absorption. The body must convert vitamin D into its active form through a two-step process involving the liver and kidneys. Aging reduces the efficiency of these conversion steps. Similarly, the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like K2 and D3 decreases with age due to reduced bile production and changes in gut function. All of these factors combine to create a perfect storm of deficiency precisely at the life stage when optimal vascular health is most critical. The warning signs of poor leg circulation. Recognizing the symptoms of impaired leg circulation is crucial because early intervention produces the best results. Pay attention to the following warning signs. Leg pain or cramping during activity. Known as intermittent claudication, this pain typically occurs in the calves, thighs, or buttocks during walking and subsides with rest. It is a classic sign of arterial insufficiency. Cold feet and legs. If your feet are chronically cold, especially if one leg is colder than the other, it may indicate reduced blood flow. Changes in skin color or texture. Skin may become pale, shiny, or take on a bluish tint. Hair loss on the legs and slow-growing toenails are also signs of poor circulation. Swelling in the feet, ankles, or lower legs. Persistent edema, especially if it pits when you press on it, suggests venous insufficiency and impaired circulation. Wounds that heal slowly or not at all. Cuts, sores, or ulcers on the feet or legs that do not heal properly are serious warning signs requiring immediate attention. Numbness or tingling. These sensations can indicate both nerve damage and circulation problems, as nerves require adequate blood flow to function. Weak pulse in the legs or feet. A healthcare provider can check the pulses in your feet and behind your knees. Weak or absent pulses indicate arterial disease. Muscle weakness and fatigue. Legs that tire easily or feel heavy may not be receiving adequate blood flow to support normal activity. If you experience any of these symptoms, do not dismiss them as normal aging. They represent your body's urgent request for intervention. Optimal dosages for restoring circulation. Based on current research and clinical experience, the following dosages have been shown to produce measurable improvements in vascular health and leg circulation in older adults. Vitamin D3. For restoration of healthy blood flow and correction of deficiency, most experts recommend 2,000 to 5,000 international units daily. Some individuals with severe deficiency may benefit from higher initial doses under medical supervision. The goal is to achieve and maintain a blood level of 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter, the range associated with optimal vascular and overall health. Because vitamin D is fat-soluble and can accumulate in the body, it is advisable to have your levels tested before starting supplementation, and periodically thereafter to ensure you are in the optimal range. However, toxicity is rare below 10,000 international units daily, and the doses recommended here are well within safe limits for the vast majority of people. Vitamin K2 for vascular protection and reversal of calcification. Research supports doses of 100 to 200 micrograms daily of the MK7 form of vitamin K2. MK7 has a longer half-life in the body than other forms of K2, meaning it remains active longer and provides more consistent protection throughout the day. Vitamin K2 is extremely safe with no established upper limit. However, individuals taking blood-thinning medications, particularly warfarin, should consult their healthcare provider before supplementing with K2, as it can affect the medication's effectiveness. Timing and form. Both vitamin D3 and K2 are fat-soluble vitamins, meaning they are best absorbed when taken with a meal containing some dietary fat. Taking them together at breakfast or dinner with foods like avocado, nuts, olive oil, or fatty fish will maximize absorption. Many supplement manufacturers now offer combination formulas containing both D3 and K2 in optimal ratios, which can simplify supplementation and ensure you are getting both vitamins consistently. It is crucial to understand that restoring circulation is not a one-time intervention. The factors that cause deficiency and vascular decline typically persist, so ongoing supplementation is necessary to maintain benefits and continue protecting vascular health. Eleanor, a 74-year-old grandmother from Minnesota, had been struggling with severe leg pain for nearly 5 years. She could barely make it from her car to the grocery store entrance before her calves would cramp with excruciating pain. Her doctor had diagnosed peripheral artery disease and recommended vascular surgery. Before committing to the procedure, Eleanor decided to try vitamin supplementation based on research she had discovered. She began taking 180 micrograms of vitamin K2 MK7 and 5,000 international units of vitamin D3 daily. Within 3 weeks, she noticed her legs felt less heavy. By 8 weeks, she could walk 3 times farther before experiencing pain. 6 months into supplementation, she walked a full mile pain-free for the first time in years. Follow-up vascular studies showed measurable improvements in blood flow, and her surgery was canceled. James, a 68-year-old retired construction worker from Florida, had developed painful leg swelling and discoloration that his doctor attributed to venous insufficiency. His ankles would swell so severely by evening that his shoes would barely fit. His vitamin D level was tested and found to be critically low at 18 nanograms per milliliter. He started taking 4,000 international units of vitamin D3 along with 200 micrograms of K2 daily. Within 2 weeks, he noticed the swelling was less severe. After 2 months, his ankles looked nearly normal, even at the end of a long day. His energy improved dramatically, and he was able to return to the woodworking hobby he had abandoned. These stories represent the experiences of countless individuals who have discovered that poor circulation does not have to be a permanent condition. The body retains a remarkable capacity for healing when given the nutritional support it needs. Perhaps the most sobering aspect of poor leg circulation is the potential consequences of leaving it untreated. Peripheral artery disease significantly increases the risk of heart attack and stroke because it is often part of systemic atherosclerosis, affecting arteries throughout the body. Advanced arterial disease in the legs can lead to critical limb ischemia, where blood flow becomes so impaired that tissue begins to die. This can necessitate amputation. According to data from the American Heart Association, approximately 160,000 amputations are performed in the United States each year due to peripheral artery disease, many of them preventable with earlier intervention. The 5-year mortality rate after lower limb amputation exceeds 50%, worse than many cancers. Venous insufficiency, while less immediately life-threatening, can lead to chronic wounds, infections, and permanent skin changes that significantly impact quality of life. The pain and limitation associated with poor circulation often leads to a downward spiral of inactivity, weight gain, depression, and accelerated functional decline. The emotional and psychological toll is equally significant. The inability to walk without pain, to keep up with grandchildren, to travel, or to maintain independence erodes dignity and joy. Many people with circulation problems describe feeling isolated, frustrated, and fearful about the future. All of this makes the availability of a safe, effective, scientifically validated nutritional intervention all the more important. The cost of supplementation with vitamin K2 and D3 is measured in pennies per day. The cost of not supplementing can be measured in limbs, independence, and years of life. The evidence is clear: vitamin K2 and vitamin D3, taken together consistently, have the power to restore healthy circulation to aging legs. They work through complementary mechanisms to reduce arterial calcification, improve endothelial function, enhance nitric oxide production, reduce inflammation, and maintain vascular flexibility. This is not theoretical. It is not experimental. It is established science supported by decades of research and the experiences of millions of people who have benefited from optimizing these critical nutrients. If you are over 60 and experiencing any symptoms of poor leg circulation, you have nothing to lose and potentially everything to gain by ensuring your vitamin K2 and D3 levels are optimal. Start with testing if possible, but do not let the absence of testing prevent you from taking action. The recommended doses are safe for the vast majority of people and have the potential to transform your vascular health. Your legs have carried you through every step of your life's journey. They deserve the nutritional support necessary to carry you through the years ahead with strength, comfort, and vitality. 2 vitamins. 1 daily commitment. The restoration of blood flow and the reclaiming of your mobility may be closer than you ever imagined.